disturbing lost media found from the internet. That name just sounds weird just because if I know anything from the lost fucking footage videos from online, we're gonna see some crazy shit. And probably the dude that has to eat the fucking human body parts in front of the two dudes. Like, I don't know, bro. The internet is a weird place.
1970.
Oh, Unreal aired? Unreal aired. Okay, UA. Gotcha. Gotcha.
The television industry is at its all-time high, and riding off its success is a genre of entertainment that has already begun to bloom. Television game shows.
Three people will compete today on Jeopardy! And now here's the start.
If we look into this era of game show history, we see exponential growth of famous shows such as Family Feud, and the $20,000 Pyramid.
This is the $20,000 Pyramid. Today's special guest.
But amongst the battle of these household names was a lesser known show. Successful, yes, but not enough to become worldwide mainstream. The show was called The $25,000 Great Temptation, or Great Temptation for short. Great Temptation would make its debut to Australian television in 1970. On the Channel 7 network, also known as Channel 7, the first of many episodes to come would go live. The game show's premise was similar to that of another game show called Sale of the Century. There are 3 contestants on stage, and each is given questions that they must answer. If a contestant answers correctly, a set dollar amount gets added to their total score. With this money, the contestant in the lead can make small purchases throughout the show, or a more risky option was to save up your money, and if you win, you will receive a major prize at the end of the show. In the following months after this show's premiere, they would begin to film episode upon episode. Up until this point, the production of these episodes would go almost uninterrupted. Until disaster struck.
Thank you very much, Max Rowley. Evening all. Welcome to the show. $25,000 Great Temptation, $25,000 Great Temptation, 25.
It's somewhere in 1970. On this particular day, they were filming an upcoming episode for Great Temptation. As usual, there were 3 contestants, one of them being a woman named Valerie, and the other 2, unknown. The host of the show, Tony Barber, began to ask questions.
I'm sorry to pause it, but like, what? I thought this was disturbing. Well, let me just continue. Let's continue watching and see. I guess something probably might happen. I don't know. My bad.
And in short time, Valerie had taken the lead. Despite attempts by other contestants to overtake Valerie, she remained in the lead throughout the whole duration. And it looked as if she was going to be this episode's winner. Once the show had reached its end, the host Tony would announce, "Congratulations, Valerie, you've won." In a matter of seconds after this, her body went limp and fell to the ground. The room went silent. Everyone was confused. Maybe she had just passed out from shock. Regardless, EMS was called to the scene. Maybe she had just passed out.
Alright, I paused it previously, but I was muted. Fuck off. But yo, she died live right there. I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at the fact that I'm muted. I was muted the first time I did this shit. This stuff, my bad. But that's wicked for them to still air that though.
Out from shock. Regardless, EMS was called to the scene. Sometime later, the floor manager came to everyone with tragic news. She had died. The cause of death to this day is still unknown. Most likely her heart stopped working or something along those lines. This was a tragic ending to the shoot, and for obvious reasons, the episode never aired. It just sat untouched. It's one of those lost media cases where the media should just stay lost out of respect for Valerie and her family. After this incident, the show would continue for another 5 seasons before shutting down for good in 1974. To me, I don't think that there is any way this piece of lost media will ever be unearthed. The only people who will ever get to witness it are the ones that were there watching it live, and for them, it will stay lodged in the back of their minds forever.
I mean, I would imagine it would stay in their fucking minds. They went to a game show and watched a woman die. But I also agree, to just air that like that when her family's still watching is kind of fucked up majorly. So, like, are we wrong for even watching this?
You must try Miro. Before Miro, work got lost.
Current destination. The Void. Unaired.
Siegfried and Roy were a German duo that performed various skills live, such as magic and dangerous stunts. They were popular among many for their daring tricks with lions and tigers. These two animals are extremely hard to tame, and on top of that, just one wrong move and it could be all over. Siegfried and Roy first met on a cruise ship that Siegfried was performing on. While Siegfried was performing, he asked Roy, who was a staff member at the time, to come up on stage and help him with the performance. Towards the end of the performance, they eventually brought out a live cheetah on stage. For this, they were both fired from their jobs on the cruise ship. Despite this, they realized as a duo they had potential and stuck together while looking for other job opportunities. In 1960, they landed another job on a New York cruise ship. This new job is where they would really hone their skills of performing with dangerous animals. Over time, as they got better, they started performing all over the world, and in 2003, they would land a performance in Las Vegas. A performance that would end in pure tragedy.
The local story that people all over the world are following. For the first time today, Roy Horn's neurosurgeon talked to the media and said it's all but miraculous the illusionist is still alive.
The show starts off as usual. Trick by trick, the audience becomes more and more amused. However, around the 45-second mark, tragedy struck. One of the tigers suddenly pounced on Roy. The tiger then began to maul his neck and drag him off stage. As the tiger was mauling him, people in the audience started bolting to the exits. In the matter of seconds, someone picked up a fire extinguisher and sprayed the tiger down with it, subsequently stopping the attack. From this, Roy was bleeding profusely and was instantly rushed to the ER. Roy was bleeding.
I was muted again. So, like I was saying, I think animals need to just stay in the wild, and you fucking humans need to go find a different purpose of entertainment. Cause I never got I never understood what is the fascination of watching a man run around a tiger knowing that he can die at any second, such as this one. Like, how is that entertaining to y'all? Like, I've never understood that. But rest in peace to this man. But you fucked around and found out. Tigers are not something to just use for entertainment.
Profusely and was instantly rushed to the ER. From the attack, Roy sustained permanent impairments to his motor and verbal abilities. He was also partially paralyzed due to a stroke he had during surgery while they were trying to save his life. After this, one of the spokesmen from the event came out and stated, "If that animal intended to harm Roy, it would have lasted 2 seconds, and there would have been no need for a hospital." If we look at it this way, we can begin to realize that the man was pretty lucky. If the tiger really wanted him dead, he would be dead. This incident If the tiger really wanted him dead, he would be dead. This incident made news headlines all across the world, and with this exposure came many films created about it. In 2004, shortly after the incident, the Discovery Channel aired a show called Anatomy of a Tiger Bite, which used Roy's incident as the main example. The show included a 3D recreation of the attack that was created with the use of audience testimonies. And then in 2019, a documentary by ABC called Siegfried and Roy Behind the Magic was created that goes over just about everything you need to know about this case. These are just 2 examples of the publicity it received. Online, there is no footage of this attack. Not a single person in the audience was filming. However, unbeknownst to the public, administration of the show had cameras rolling the whole time.
Yo, are we finna get footage of a tiger actually ripping this nigga's throat out? I'm sorry, but I find that fascinating for some reason.
These cameras captured just about everything. The moment the show started, the tiger attack, Roy getting dragged off stage, the audience freaking out, absolutely everything. Out of respect for Roy, these tapes were never released, and probably will never be released. But out there somewhere, they exist. The tapes of a man getting mauled by an animal that he had trained with for years.
Wait a minute. So this nigga, so you got us hyped up to like thinking we finna see the video, bro, and you gonna tell us it's out there somewhere? Like, boo.
Animal that he trusted with his very own life.
Ooh. I know what I'm gonna do. When your grandparents come, I'm gonna take a nap.
Wait, stop. Don't skip this video.
Ah, she's in here. She's in here.
It's 2006. A SWAT team sent by Dateline NBCs to catch a predator is getting ready to bust open the doors of a house that belongs to a 56-year-old man. The plans on his arrest are based off a sexually charged conversation online between him and a supposed 13-year-old boy. The man's name is Louis Conrad. Besides being he's a district attorney in the state of Texas, well respected among his community. So it would come to everyone's surprise who he really was behind closed doors. It all started when Louis began having a conversation online with one of the show's decoys. This conversation continued for a good while, and plans for him to show up at the Sting house were arranged. This never happened though, so Dateline decided instead of him coming, they will come to him. In the state of Texas, an explicit conversation with a minor is illegal, so a search warrant was successfully issued to his property. And on the 5th of November 2006, Dateline's team and the local police show up to Lewis's house. Upon knocking on the door, there is no reply. Inside the house, a TV and a computer are on. With this information, police suspect that he's inside hiding, so a SWAT team is called. After a 45-minute wait, the SWAT team arrives. There is still no sign of Lewis inside, so they decide to bust open the doors. The SWAT team begins to clear room after room, and out of nowhere, Lewis runs into the hallway with a pistol in hand, repeats the words, "I'm not gonna hurt you," and takes his own life.
Dude, babe, wake up. Even though that was a dramatization using just these type of blue and red figures, you still got the depiction of that, and that is some chilling shit. Like, he knew he was done for when he met to go meet up with the minor, and he knew he was going to jail. So like, that has always been my biggest thing when it came to that Chris Hansen shit. What if one of them came with a weapon? What if them came and was like, you might think I'm here for this, but this is actually what I'm here for. Like, bro, my man had a pistol and then he shot himself. Like, oh well, good riddance, sick ass. Cause that's sick as hell. You're meeting up with a child anyway, so one less pedophile we have to worry about.
He lay there lifeless in the hallway as the SWAT team watches on. Outside, everyone is confused, wondering what that loud cracking noise they just heard was. After about 5 minutes, the SWAT team emerges, and soon, everyone is notified about what happened.
Lieutenant Adana Barber of the Murphy Police Department comes out and tells us what happened.
As they made entry, they confronted the suspect. I believe he was in the hallway, and he told them he wasn't going to hurt them, and then shot them dead.
And he had a pistol in his hand.
Small caliber.
The local police were surprised at this sudden turn of events because most of them knew this man personally and never thought in a million years that he would take his own life. This was a major slip up on Dateline's part, and following these events, the show would be subsequently cancelled in 2007. Today, everything surrounding this case has been made public, such as Dateline's footage, the chat logs between him and the decoy, and even the crime scene photos. But there is one piece of media that still has not been released. But between him and the decoy, and even the crime scene photos.
Okay. This gun right here just screams 007, like it screams 1807. It screams just medieval.
But there is one piece of media that still has not been released to the public, and that is the audio recording of Lewis's final words and the shot that ended it all. Because this audio tape was never released, we will never be 100% sure on what his final words were. Most people that witnessed it recall him saying something along the lines of, "I'm not going to hurt anyone." But given the circumstances, nobody could really recall exactly what his final words were. This piece of lost media will most likely never surface the internet. The only people in possession of it are the local PD and Dateline NBC's crew. So,
Well, I got distracted towards the end by looking at something that God created, and it's beautiful. But that's going to sum it off of that one. Look here, I have no remorse for the last guy. He should have been did that shit, you sick bastard. Chris Hansen, you're still a GOAT. And that's going to do it for this one.